I'm Berk Albayrak. I have been working as a threat intelligence analyst within PTI team at Product for 2 years. And the PTI team, we have a lot of conducting proactive intelligence researches with the teams in 4 different countries. And you can use my email address and usernames below for your questions, and after that, collaborations also. And as a PTI team, we have a dedicated team actively monitoring over 300 ransomware, botnet, and APT groups, and we are providing actionable intelligence right from the source. Also, as well as publishing our TLP clear reports, such famous as Lockbit, Silverfish, Wizard Spider, and Fin7. Also, today's topic will be the Wizard Spider team, and which is one of the largest group in the world. And we will firstly describe how the works of this team, and a threat group can be destroyed, proactive intelligence processing methods by revealing research, and we have done its connections with other threat groups and ransomware groups also. Firstly, what is the Wizard Spider? The group is also known as the users Ryuk, Trickbot, and Conti ransomwares, and their first creation and first discovered date is 2017. And also, they are completely financially motivated cybercrime group, and the whole scenario that we are going to follow is going to be based on this scheme. And you will better understanding the importance of the each teams, each groups, each tools, and as a PTI team, we have different visibility inside of each part of Wizard Spider team. And the group's extraordinary profitability allows its leaders to invest in illicit research and development initiatives. Also, Wizard Spider is fully capable of hiring specialist talents, building new digital infrastructures, and purchasing access to the advanced exploits. And when we start the investigation, the whole structure of this team, and we focused where the first attack started, and we said we need more data. And in our research, we found the most of the initial accesses coming from data of the Wizard Spider teams from QBot. And the QBot is a malware banking Trojan. As you know, the first discovered date is 28, 7, sorry. And groups, and this malware is stealing information from infected machines, and including files, credentials, email addresses, and infrastructure details of the victim devices. And after the gaining access of the initial infection case, the QBot threat actors installs a secondary malware to the infected machines, such as ransomware, stealer, Cobalt Strike, or reverse proxy agents such as System BC malware. And according to our findings, QBot sent over 400 million spam emails and infected 1 million devices last year. And they are working with blockbuster ransomware nowadays. And so, how does the QBot distribute all of these attacks? QBot's role is in the Wizard Spider is to organize large-scale spam mail campaigns and using business email compromises attacks for the capturing email thread IDs, for the thread ID hijacking and distributing these malwares effectively. And they are using public stealer logs and combo lists and email checkers for the gaining new accesses and takeover accounts. And last but not least, it should be known that the QBot team performs mass scans by following the latest vulnerabilities and exploits. If you look at the classic QBot attack chain, when the spam campaigns are started and the victim executes it, it's a continuous and malicious macro document in a zip file is downloaded to the user desktop, and the file is automatically downloaded to second stage DLL on the distro servers and executes itself. And it's constantly changing the methods used in these processes. For example, sometimes they are using ISO files, CHAIM files, Microsoft One files. They depends on their, I think, moods. And most of them connecting with command and control via tiered proxy addresses on more than 200 statically embedded servers. And in cases where QBot attacks are successful, the Wizard Spider team uses System BC to take their attack to the next levels. And System BC is a proxy malware leveraging SOX proxy. First samples of the dates, System BC is back to over 2018, and it's used as a part of the attack chain involved in the dark side ransomware in the Colonial Pipeline case. And they are deploying Cobalt Strike or System BC malwares for the perform lateral movements and privilege escalation inside of the victim's desktop or devices. And accesses obtained from the System BC attacks are moved to second stage by sending Cobalt Strike to the victim device. Also, they are applying domain-based service selection. If the victim appears worthy for a ransomware attack, they deploy Cobalt Strike or similar softwares also. And there are accesses after the System BC attacks. They are using Cobalt Strike. Cobalt Strike is as you know, a commercial remote access tool, and it's suitable for APT and ransomware groups because its collaborative features such as internal team speak and servers shared sessions capabilities. And Wizard Spider team daily generates these Cobalt Strike beacons. And they're using different servers, domain names, each sample to avoid detection. And however, most samples connect to residing in reliable sites, USA-based data center. And Wizard Spider utilizes 4 different penetration teams inside of that, and for intrusive activities such as lateral movement, privilege escalation, and data exploitation from the victims. And at the same time, all of these findings are supported by the subsequent Conti leaks, as we have seen in the Conti ransomware data leaks, where each team is divided into different team leaders and their structures also. And in the images of the shared later, it's seen that the Wizard Spider team is actively using Cobalt Strike malware. And the other thing is Log4j scanning. Why it's very important for the Wizard Spider? Because when we did the research and took the research to the next level, our team detected that some of the Cobalt Strike servers directly belonged to Wizard Spider, carried out a mass scan vulnerability scanning for the Log4j vulnerability. And further investigation revealed that the attackers are directly scanned and exploit hundreds of VMware vCenter machines in the wild. Also, as soon as some current SNIV exploit occurs, threat actors scanning the whole world to exploit these new malwares and vulnerabilities. And we were able to gain visibility into one of these intrusion servers of the Wizard Spider threat actors. And that was used as a command and control system in these Cobalt Strike attacks. And also when we did the proactive intelligence methods to probe these servers for mass scan activities, we found 5 different Bitcoin addresses probably belonging to the one of the threat actors. Its name is Prince. After that, you can find in the Conti leaks. And we found more than 30 victims in the intrusion server, some of the critical victims in Fortune 500. And over 400 different binaries, including a lot of Neve type buzzer loader, QBot, PowerShell scripts, and Cobalt Strike beacons, and executable files and custom toolkits. As can be seen in the figure, it contains many red team tools, manuals, and Cobalt Strike beacons. It contains everything in the sample files in the intrusion server. And another point, there's a lot of tool in it, and which shows that threat actors have created an attack model that they work in every situation. And we saw that some of the Wizard Spider threat actors are linked their operational credentials with the SOC puppets through specific IP addresses, passwords, first name and usernames, birthdays, and everything. And it shows us this group takes very secure OPSEC measures in this regard. And from the platforms they are subscribed to, and domains they are actively connecting, accessing, and they are working with using these credentials and accesses. Also, there are a lot of tools inside of that intrusion servers. You can find it in our Wizard Spider report also. And it shows us they are using different attack models in their new attack styles and types, and they can work with every different situation. And you can access more on in Wizard Spider report also. And of course, the Conti leaks published, and after this research directly corroborate this study, and we find a lot of tools inside of the tools are related with the Conti leaks. And the Conti and Wizard Spider teams are using the same tools and same penetration toolkits also. And in addition, Wizard Spider team uses some of the facilitate lateral movements on the infected machines to break the hashes on devices, and they access the while carrying out these attacks. And Wizard Spider team has developed their own cracking station for the maintenance server, and they can brute LM and TLM and Kerberos, KeyPass and MS Office files, hashes, and or encryption keys. And as can be seen in the figure, the teams have also provided the environment to crack the encrypted data obtained from devices, and they gained access also. And Wizard Spider team is using a cold calling to scare non-responsive victims into paying using a VoIP system, as can be seen in the figure. And in this figure, you can see that in the first row, first column, they are using a new different names of the victims, and in the second column, that's the locked date of the timestamps and victim ID, and is the victim called and or not successfully called or unsuccessfully, and the victim's directly internal ID of the Conti threat actors located and tracked this victim. And we saw that after the Conti leaks, the internal conversation in the Conti leaks between the threat actors obtained directly from Conti leaks and shows the features of the cold calling systems. They are calling the victims for the threatening of the victims pay the money. And now that the part of the victim device have been accessed, we can move the actions on objectives part of the cyber kill chain, and where the Wizard Spider team actively uses extortion servers to extract critical information from victims, and they have infected also. And all of the extortion servers are detected and located from directly OVH France data centers. And the system administrators of the team regularly checking the status of servers and health of the disks for the data lost. And stolen data is typically transferred to an extortion server via proxy network established using WireGuard VPN and new type of VPN configurations. And most of the time, it has been observed that threat actors are using rclone to dump this data to the FTP servers config files they have already prepared in their machines. And the victim data they collected from the extortion servers here is periodically backupped and sending into the new servers via rsync over SSH, and the backup server is located in Russia in the Selectel company. And continuing our research as the PTI team, we found the a lot of data contains two different servers, and we were if we look at the two pictures, one of them contains 11 terabyte data, the second one contains 26 terabyte data. They're very big servers for the storing data. And later on these servers, which is already related to the Wizard Spider team, were exposed being shared in Conti leaks, and this figure is from the Conti leaks. Our findings are confirmed again. And one of these backup servers is belonging to the threat actors. Were able to understand with the Conti leaks the situation when we saw victims who were not yet on their blogs. They were hiding already paid company data and with fake data wipers to make it look like they had already deleted it, or they were preparing fake data generators to make it look like they had more data from the victims, and which were able to verify with Conti leaks. Also, so what are the teams they work in with these data extraction and ransomware operations? Wizard Spider developed his own PHP scripts to perform encryption for the victim devices, and the scripts expects the SOX proxy list And in addition to virtual machine addresses and SSH ports, and after that, it's already like this. You are just giving the SOX proxy in the first bullet point, and for example, it's maybe sometimes system BC or Cobalt Strike for the Wizard Spider team. After that, you are just giving your new local file link or directly local file, and after that, you are just start to push, and after that, every new hypervisor server starts to encrypt it. And the description of the encryptor software in the Conti leaks confirmed our findings. They are used actively hypervisor encryption. And the local software server of the Wizard Spider, most of the time they are using Conti ransomware, and we saw that in the findings. And they use the same local software in the another attacks. Also, we saw that most of times they are using Conti ransomware and their tools. Conti is the name of the ransomware group also, and group behind referred directly as Wizard Spider, and their first discard date is 2019, and they have a lot of connections between the Ryuk ransomware with the historically places, and uses a ransomware as a service structure and business model, and they uses double extortion methods in the before. So what does the Conti ransomware do, actually? They access to the victim devices, and after encrypting all data on the device, it leaves a readme.txt file on the machine and leaves the data about payment transactions to be made. And when you send the file to the Conti service, it drops you directly from their negotiation page, and when the payment is not made, they publish all data from the taken their own block. And during our research, when we look at the structure of the Conti servers, we found 2 different servers on the surface and 3 different servers located in onion services. And we found that they had an admin panel as a result of some misconfiguration. And in the work we have done on these servers, and the OPSEC failures of the made by Wizard Spider team, we were able to gain visibility for login panels and Conti affiliates. And we realized that we are at the right address, and all of these transactions are being carried out right from here. And these are the domain address of the Tor service and surface web address. And then, as a PTI team, we look at that was it addresses here, and we were able to gain visibility again this admin panel of the Conti servers, and which was the server and the panel where all these conversations, users, and informations were stored. And in the Conti admin panel, although of course the panel titles are very detailed, there are 4 types of the users: and admin, operator, support, requests. Admin can share victims with multiple affiliates, and admin can view detailed accesses log for the chats and every chat. Victim can be banned from this panel. Maybe here you can ask, why didn't you share the old decryption case with the victims? Because as a classic ransomware, as a service structure's nature, you can see our latest Lockbit and PISA ransomware reports already published. The decryption keys are not stored in the databases of the ransomware groups, and the data of the victims cannot be accessed directly from here. And we see that most of the traffic comes from either Tor or VPN from this admin panel. And after that, having provided such a deep, in-depth view, when we look at the connections between this server to identify the elements that make up with Wizard Spider team, we see that most of the traffic comes from directly Tor. But we saw a lot of Bitcoin addresses inside of that server. And as the reason we have all of the conversations, we wanted to investigate whole wallets and to try to monitor whole traffic and money traffic also. And we worked with the elliptic analysis in here and to track the flows of the monies and the Bitcoin wallets. And we had identified, and we saw that the 6-month traffic in the totally $25 million gained Conti team. And after that, we reported these all findings and with all these findings and published a Conti report in 18 November 2021 with a Conti report. Right after we published that report, Conti team and many Wizard Spider teams servers went directly offline at the same time, and all the Conti addresses were inaccessible. And after that, a week later, Conti turned back, and we get a response directly from the Conti team and to us, and the affiliates who use them also saying that the risk of the data being compromised from their systems was not too great, and that $25 million is not $25 million, it's over $300 million, and the rest of the propaganda the rest of the text is just propaganda. We can pass that. And after that, we started the second investigation about the group also, and so we decided the second investigation, and we start to collect relations between the other groups and ransomware groups between the Wizard Spider, and one of them is R-Evil ransomware. We found that some of the backup storage, and we have identified some of the victims were attacked by the R-Evil at the same time in the first quarter of 2021, and it presents a worrying example of collaboration between ransomware gangs. And however, we don't say these are directly from by the Wizard Spider group, but whole Wizard Spider team carried out these attacks or the stolen data transferred from R-Evil servers into backup storage. And then, while reviewing the data from a separate Fin7 team research, we realized that username Ruben, an affiliate of the Wizard Spider and Conti team, was a part of this team. And we didn't ignore the fact that the people in the sub-teams of a big team like Wizard Spider can also work with different sources, and we saw that the teams were working Lockbit jointly, direct work in here. And the last relations in the Solarmarker report we published a few months ago, and we realized that the Wizard Spider affiliates was also one of the users of the Solarmarker botnet, and its name is, as can you see in the figure, Strix. While we are doing this research, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine emerged, and something changed. Conti has been known to support Russia in their statements and behavior before, but this time they made a very strong statement, and they are completely in favor of Russia. But this announcement was quickly deleted and changed and softened. But this attitude of the team was not well received by the affiliates. Within a few days, account was created on the Twitter and started leaking all the data of the Conti infrastructures and all the internal workings of the Conti. And Conti now made a big mess with these data, like Jabber leaks and like conversations between teams and a lot of internal works. And he finally did make a statement saying that he supports Ukraine totally. Meanwhile, the entire PTI team, we are stayed up for 2 days for the analyze whole data. And we were dealing with a lot of Russian and English confusion as the group's communication data was leaked. And we realized that some of the Conti leaks confirmed our work from the Wizard Spider, and that we could have deeper insights into Wizard Spider, and we started to work out structure of the team. And we created a hierarchy about the Wizard Spider team, and we found out there are more than 202 people in this team. Also, they headed by a threat actor. It's called Stern, and the teams are subdivided, they work like a company. And the R&D teams that develop new products and develop new ransomwares, and HR teams finding and interviewing stuff from underground forums and channels, and affiliates buying ransomware as a service to win-win policies, and finance team used to pay employees salaries and money laundering. Of course, when we analyzed each of these members, we found that they had ties to different threat groups, and this time it started to expose all members Wizard Spider, but publishing PIIs of the threat actors. But we don't say these attributes are all of them to Wizard Spider because all of affiliate system nature. And just then we saw that some of the Wizard Spider members are exposed in the Twitter, and some of the account was created in the Twitter. Its name is Trickbot Leaks. And after that, he started to expose whole members of the Wizard Spider and publishing PIIs of the threat actors and more and more. And in light of these findings, we have shared our second report, and which we have combined whole data with this new report. And now I'm going to go back a little bit and ask you to remember this answer. A headline catches our attention, not yet Cameron. You need to remember that. This quote is from directly Das Boot. Das Boot, the boat, is a German movie about adventures of World War II and World War II submarines. And near end of the movie, a surviving commander says, "Not yet, Cameron, not yet." But those who have seen the rest of the movie knows that the submarine is sinking after that, at the end of the movie. And end of the cover of our report, we have put last scene of the dust boat, the sinking of the submarine. That's the reason. A few months after this report, Conti Group and Wizard Spider, sub-Wizard Spider groups shut down the remaining ransomware business, disappeared completely, and rebranded 2 days in subgroups and shut down their whole addresses. A couple of days followed by a long summer, and all teams did nothing for months in the 2022. As a result, let's make to appreciation. And as a result, when we look at the statistics of Wizard Spider, for 1 year, risks and costs contained these attacks are increasing if you don't interrupt them. At the early stages, of course. And each stage requires different remediation actions, and these actions may prevent serious damage, because you can see that 160 million spam campaign just gives a result, just 5 encryption of the devices. And we identified more than 120K system BC victim. The Wizard Spiders is attacked also. But most of them is targeting Russia and USA. You can see that in the figure. But although it's seen that the threat actor is statistically identified victims originated from Russia at a high rate, but none of them are encountered in the cracking or encryption stages of the attack cycles. They are just going to delete it. And finally, in the appreciation, Wizard Spider gang consists of highly skilled hackers and has been a serious threat to companies and governments since 2016, and they manage a sophisticated and complex operation involving 0 days, new exploits, new techniques and new tactics, and new team management schemes and efficient double extortion mechanisms. And they are using military grades communication channels in the Mattermost and other servers, and it means a cautious OPSEC procedures. And therefore, conventional threat intelligence approaches are inadequate to prevent ransomware attacks performed by this team. And they are working a lot of teams nowadays. And also, recent Conti leaks verified our all previous finding in this investigation. However, many elements in this presentation should still be regarded as confidential. But until the moment of this presentation, since they involve never have been seen aspects of the Wizard Spider, and thanks you for the listening.